We're broadcasting live here in Davos, Switzerland at the annual meeting 2025. Welcome everybody in the room and welcome our online audience following us via the live stream. Please don't hesitate to engage with us with the hashtag WEF25. A big welcome to the panelists as well. Thank you for being here. So today we are here to share the latest progress in ASEAN's transformation into an inclusive and sustainable digital future. The outlook is one vision, one identity, and one community. Despite global challenges and geopolitical tensions, progress is being made to achieve this vision. My name is Daidi. I'm the head of media planning at the World Economic Forum. It's my honor to introduce this distinguished panel. Let me introduce first Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim, His Excellency Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim, Prime Minister of Malaysia. Welcome, Prime Minister, to returning Davos after 30 years. To his left is Mr. Christophe de Vusser, worldwide managing partner from Bain & Company. And to his left is my colleague, Mr. Zhuok Li, head of Asia Pacific from the World Economic Forum. Without further ado, I'm delighted to welcome the Prime Minister to open the floor, to give his opening remarks, and also to share his vision. And thoughts as Malaysia takes the ASEAN chair this year. What is your vision and the strategy for the ASEAN 2045? Prime Minister, please.
Thank you. As you know, the ASEAN consensus among leaders has been to ensure that it goes beyond normal diplomatic engagement, but to ensure that the intra-trade investments increase and the priority in terms of inclusivity and sustainability that we've talked about should begin with an ASEAN energy grid, which covers at least 7 countries within ASEAN now. And then second priority is, of course, digital transformation within ASEAN, which means AI-driven connectivity to take into consideration of the various gaps between those in the urban centers with more connectivity to the less developed areas. But our commitment is to make sure that this sort of transmission and also transformation of digital would cover all areas and angles. If these two priorities are achieved, I think it will be a phenomenal feat for ASEAN as a region. Because as you know, it is relatively most peaceful region in the world and fastest growing economy, but we have not given emphasis to substantive economic or technological collaboration. And the consensus that we have achieved, therefore, to my mind, is a very important radical departure from the conventional view of ASEAN leaders in the past. And this is, of course, where the experts would have to give an input, because we are not starting at ground zero, of course, but we are embarking aggressively now till we meet in May together with the Gulf Council, GCC, and possibly with the participation of China and the United States. And then towards that, to expand and accelerate the process to make sure that by October, soon after APEC in South Korea, I don't know whether they can still have it in Korea, right? Then the APEC in Kuala Lumpur would certainly be able to see substantive results. And I think, in my communication with my colleagues, we all want to make a difference. It's no longer pious platitudes about collaboration, but substantive in these two issues. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister. Thank you for sharing all these very valuable insights with us. Now I would like to ask Christoph, as many companies, Bain sees also AI as a game changer to transform the business and industries. So could you tell us how the ASEAN region can prepare for an intelligent age, as it's also the theme of this annual meeting, and what measures should be taken to position ASEAN as a thriving hub for innovation and for startups? Thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot, and it's been an honor for us to work together with the WEF on this report. And of course, the Asian region has made significant strides already. If we look into what will be required in the future for the Asian region to continue to thrive, we see three core elements. It's strategic investments that will be required in the AI talent and trust side. The second one, we see some opportunities for further policy innovation that will enable it. And the third one is, as you were mentioning, Ms. Prime Minister, is the increased collaboration between the region. So let me quickly cover the three topics on the investments on the AI side. We think it's critical that the region has made great strides and good investment, 30 billion of investments in AI infrastructure in 2024. And we think that will be critical to continue those investments in the future. That, of course, goes together with what you were saying around an Asian energy grid that can enable the data centers and that will enable the investments going forward in the region. So a lot of the value that will come through AI will not be only in the large language models or in the cloud infrastructure, will be driven by the application layer, where there can be a lot of innovation driven in the Asian country. The second of the investment is continue to invest in upskilling the talent in the Asian region. As you work through the investments and the applications on the investment, there will be need for digital literacy, there will be need for AI ethics, there will be need for a whole series of technical skills that will be required. And we see good progress on several of those initiatives. And the third one, of course, the world of AI can only work with the right governance and security layer. There will be collaboration needed to have robust frameworks to enable the innovation and still make sure that the trust will be there in deploying it across the different countries. So the second one, after the investment in the AI, in the talent and in the trust, is the policy side. We think that AI and creating a digital economy requires a healthy capital market that allows for venture capital. And so working together in the region to enable investments to create a healthy and stimulate further a healthy venture capital market is going to be critical. And as you do so, there needs to be an exit point for venture capital. And so collaborating and making sure that there's healthy stock markets where the innovators can exit and the venture capital can exit to will be critical as well. So creating such a robust ecosystem and healthy capital markets in collaboration in the region, we think will be critical as well. And the final piece on the collaboration side, next to the energy grid, next to the talent upskilling, etc., we also believe that there is a significant amount of application and solutions that you can pilot across the region. What we like is, for instance, the QR system for regional payment. We think these are great initiatives where you can drive the scale of the regions to build the innovation and to scale the innovation. And so we're actually very excited about the prospects of the region, one of the fastest growing in the world, already doing significant investments. And I think there's a clear pathway with the initiatives that you're doing and with what we're seeing at the global level to double down on both the investment side, the policy side, and the collaboration side. We're very excited about the opportunities that the region provides.
Thank you very much, Christoph. It's very exciting to have these three key elements happening in ASEAN. Now, last but not least, asking Joak, as the forum, a global platform for collaboration, what can the forum do to contribute and to bridge the gap and to help ASEAN to achieve this, this goal?
So, thank you for those questions, Daidi. From the forum side, we have long been hoping and waiting to really shed more light on what is happening in the region, and especially given the global context, what exciting leadership prospects can we expect from ASEAN. And we feel that one of the most important areas is, of course, as the Prime Minister mentioned, energy and other topics, but also digital economy. And the fact that we have the chair of ASEAN together leading a very strong delegation from Malaysia is very encouraging. And we hope to use that opportunity and your presence to really showcase the progress that has been made, as well as the conclusion, hopefully, of the Digital Economy Framework Agreement under Malaysia's chairmanship. From the forum side, as an international organization for public-private collaboration, we feel that there is much to be gained by forging further public-private cooperation to not only have the world's first ever regional digital economy agreement in ASEAN, but also to have that as a high ambition, inclusive agreement. So from the forum side, we are working, of course, with our partners, Bain and company and others in the region to make sure that the negotiators themselves are fed with all the latest information and trends around the different technology areas, and also that there are sufficient dialogues amongst the government stakeholders and the private sector so that we're not only going for the low-hanging fruits, but really something that can chart a path towards other regions in following ASEAN's example. So we're very proud to have the strong support of both Malaysia as well as the other ASEAN member states, but also to have this project that focuses on really enhancing the ambition and also technically really having a sound agreement on the ground. But at the same time, as a global platform, we are trying to also shed further light on what is happening in the region. And I think Christoph was a little bit too modest not to mention too much about the report, but Bain and Company, together with Temasek and Google, every year produce an excellent report that focuses on the region's digital economy. And the fact that we can actually talk about it, study some of the exciting findings that come out every year here in Davos, I think would also be of benefit to other regional leaders as they follow a similar path going forward.
Thank you very much, Joak. I think all of our panelists mentioned many times the word collaboration. So, Prime Minister, in your opinion, what can the ASEAN leaders still do to forge this collaboration? It's already ASEAN as one community is quite strong, but we can always do better. In your opinion, what could be done to unlock ASEAN's full potential?
Well, the term collaboration, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, must the humility to acknowledge that this is a new technology, challenging. We don't have all the answers, and therefore the collaboration must begin with the stakeholders, with the players, Bain, all the companies, from states, from China. We must therefore continue to engage to make sure that we craft the correct policies. That's very important. So when we have, for example, the National AI Office, now the task is therefore not to come with prescriptions, is to get all the input necessary, what needs to be done. Of course, the ecosystem. The ecosystem includes airports, ports, infrastructure, centers of excellence, research, collaboration with universities. So collaboration, to me, includes not only collaboration among leaders of ASEAN, but demand collaboration with the private sector. This is an area which requires governments and the ruling elite to acknowledge their limitations and to understand if we are to succeed, they must be involved in every sector. For example, what type of facility do you require in the Center of Excellence, in the universities? How do you collaborate to get all these companies to be involved to identify what they need, what talents they require? And this is not the answer the universities can give, except if they collaborate with the private sector. Of course, we have been doing it, but I don't think we have done it in a radical manner to appreciate the urgent need for this reform. And then, of course, to relate to supply chains, because otherwise it is just an implant from totally a foreign entity and just getting the best in terms of cheap energy and cheap water. Of course, that is untenable politically. So we have that requirements, yes, water, resources, and also the grid, because they would give this comfort to the potential investors that for the next 10 years you don't have a problem with the energy requirements, which is phenomenal increase. But to my mind, more important still is the talent and to identify those companies, local companies that could be reliable in terms of supply chains. We are fortunate in Malaysia, in terms of semiconductor, because they've been there 30 years or so, or more, but we should share this. And one of the things we have done, taking into account of the requests from Indonesia, Philippines, and Brunei, for example, to get their team to come and share from our limited experience, and I've asked Singapore to do likewise, particularly when they have Johor Singapore Economic Zone. So collaboration must start with the private sector, with the players that have the expertise base, then collaboration with the governments, because the legislation must be up to date. We can't have, for example, an obsolete legislation to deal with more challenging. Minister Gobin is here, for example, in some digital. We take all the latest pieces of legislation all over the world and adjust accordingly and push through. Fortunately, we have 2/3 majority in Parliament. That helps immensely, because people will see, so the array of things that we need to do to give meaning to effective collaboration and clarity of policies and effective, fast pace of implementation.
Thank you so much, Prime Minister. So, Christoph, Prime Minister has shared on the leadership, ASEAN leader perspective, in the business perspective as an industry leader. Do you have any recommendations, advice to your peers?
No, what I said is what they actually politely criticize us in terms of what we need to do. So actually we took into account, for example, legislation, they took into account the infrastructure, the talent, and also supply chain.
And I think you're right to pull out the need on the energy side, because what we see around the world is, if you want to build the skills and the technology in the region and in the individual countries, energy will be a core factor in order to drive this. And therefore having a grid where everybody has the comfort that there will be enough energy, it will be available to everybody, it will be affordable also outside of the industry, will be a critical part. And energy, and regional energy and local energy, is going to be one of the great powers in order to enable the AI infrastructure in the region.
Thank you very much. We have some media in the room. I'd like to open the floor to questions. Please state your name and organization, and please keep the questions relevant to this briefing. So we have Lek, please. Have a microphone. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Muntai from TNN Thailand. I'd like to ask the Prime Minister of Malaysia 2 questions. The first question is, are you considering to promote nuclear power, especially at SMR, recently? And the second question, we have now seen the industrial relocation and digital infrastructure explode in ASEAN country, and Malaysia want the money, Thailand want the FDI and money. How could we find a fairly balance of this situation while we are still need the FDI?
Well, in the first place, the nuclear requirement is accepted. Although to us it's not that pressing, looking at the potential from Sarawak and solar and also the grid. But notwithstanding, just to make sure, because the mushrooming of data centers is huge, and in every meeting there's no new requirements, and people have been suggesting they want to put up, and I don't want to frustrate them, because that's part of the overall AI requirements, which means that the nuclear option is there. I know Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia have embarked on this, and I'm trying to get us to work together so that we have a better bargaining position. Now, on the issue of FDIs, we all attract over data centers. But I think because we are coordinating well, I mean, it's not, to me, it's not an issue, because there are a lot of interest into Malaysia, into Thailand, into Indonesia, and of course Singapore is quite saturated in that sense. I don't see that as a problem whatsoever. I mean, we are in coordination. Of course, sometimes they joke, some of these companies prefer Malaysia or some Thailand, but I think the potential is just enormous.
Yes, Joak, please come in.
If I could just add from the forum side also an announcement that tomorrow, His Excellency the Prime Minister will be joined by other ASEAN leaders and experts, specifically looking into why ASEAN is actually stronger together rather than sort of beggar thy neighbor approach and that we see. I think ASEAN will really demonstrate that healthy competition and also collective strength in this respect. But if I could just very quickly go back to the Prime Minister when he made the point of learning from what is already out there and also building on top of that. I think going back to the Digital Economy Framework Agreement, that is specifically what the region and the ASEAN member states are doing. They are, of course, charting the path forward, but at the same time, there are many trade agreements that have digital chapters. There are some, maybe not regional digital economy agreements, but some existing agreements. And the forum also has been quite, I think, fortunate in terms of partnering to create an online repository for all of the ASEAN member states so that they can actually reference and learn and build on what already exists, but also adapt it towards ASEAN's context and come up with this first ever regional digital economy agreement. So I wanted to also slide in a bit of PR on the project that we're running there.
Yeah, DFA is of course critical. That's, you see the list of our priorities, but also FTAs. We just signed last week with UAE and CPTPP with UK, and then now we want to have a fast track with the EU FTA, because that would help, because a very important component was missing in all the previous FTAs is of course digital.
Thank you so much. Unfortunately, we are out of time. In case you have further questions, please do feel free to reach out to me and we can pass on to the panelists. Sincere thank you to all of our speakers for their time and for all the valuable insights. We hope you will enjoy the rest of the annual meeting program and we will see you online or in the Congress Center. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.